He wasn't my real dad, but he loved me like one. I used to think love was something written in blood, bound by DNA, defined by genes. That's what they told me when I was little. Real family is blood. So when I first heard the whispers at school that I was adopted, I ran home, slammed the door, and screamed at the man I called Dad. "You're not even my real father." I'll never forget the way his face fell, like I had just stabbed him with a truth he wasn't ready to hear. But he didn't get angry. He just stood there silent, holding a photo of us from when I was 5. He waited until I calmed down. I remember sitting on the porch steps, arms crossed, heart thudding in rage and confusion. He sat next to me quietly. Then he said, "You're right. I'm not your biological father, but I've loved you every day, like you were mine." I didn't respond. I just stared at the sky, pretending I didn't care. But inside, I was shattered. The man who had tucked me in every night, taught me how to ride a bike, clean my scraped knees. He wasn't my real dad. What did that even mean anymore? I spent the next few days ignoring him, punishing him for a truth he never tried to hide. I went through old photo albums looking for clues. There were baby pictures missing. My birth certificate looked newer than the others I'd seen in school. But nothing explained why this man, this kind, soft-spoken man, had chosen me. I wanted to ask, but my pride kept me silent. Until one evening, I overheard him on the phone. He whispered, "He's hurting." I don't blame him. I just wish he knew how much I love him. That night, I cried quietly in my room. Not because I was adopted, not because he wasn't my biological father, but because I realized I had hurt the one person who had never stopped loving me. The next morning, I couldn't find the right words. So instead, I sat next to him at breakfast and said, "Can we go fishing this weekend?" His face lit up, not with victory, but with relief, like a weight had been lifted. He smiled and said, "Of course. I'll get the rods ready." That was our silent truce. Fishing was always our thing. He'd pack peanut butter sandwiches. I'd carry the tackle box. We barely talked while we fished, but somehow we said everything. That Saturday, as we sat on the dock with our lines in the water, he finally spoke. "Your mom and I couldn't have children," he said. "We tried for years. Then one day we got a call about a baby boy who needed a home." He looked at me with the same warm eyes I had seen every day of my life. "And I knew you were meant to be ours." I looked down at the water, unsure of how to respond. My hands tightened around the fishing pole. "Did you ever wish you had your own kid?" I asked. He chuckled softly. "I do have my own kid. You." Then he added, "Love isn't biology. It's showing up. It's staying, even when it's hard." I didn't say anything right away, but my heart did. It swelled with something I hadn't let in for days. Maybe he wasn't my real dad in the eyes of the law, but in every way that mattered, he was mine. Over the years, I stopped thinking about DNA. I just called him Dad and meant it. He taught me how to change a tire, how to shave without nicking my chin, how to stand up for myself without starting a fight. He was always there. School plays, birthday parties, my first heartbreak. He never missed a moment. I still remember him holding me when I failed a math test, saying, "One grade doesn't define you. I'm proud of the effort." That's the kind of father he was. Patient, present, quietly strong. When I turned 18, he gave me a box. Inside was a small journal, full of entries he had written over the years. The first one started the day I came home. He cried all night. I didn't know how to comfort him, but I held him anyway. I read every page, first words, first steps, first day of school. It was his way of saying, I was there, always. I cried reading it, for the boy I was and the man I had become because of him. No father could have loved me more. College took me away, but we stayed close. He sent me care packages, his famous oatmeal cookies, handwritten notes, bad dad jokes. Every call ended with, "I love you, kiddo." I always said it back. always. Until one day I didn't pick up the phone. Finals week was hectic. I saw his name flashing on my screen and I thought, I'll call him back tomorrow. Tomorrow came, but the call didn't. Instead, I got a voicemail. Hey, bud, just wanted to hear your voice. Miss you. I kept that voicemail. I still have it. The day I graduated, he was front row. Wearing a tie I bought him in middle school. Ugly blue stripes. He wore it proudly. After the ceremony, he hugged me so tight it hurt. I'm so proud of you, he whispered. I saw tears in his eyes. That night, he handed me an envelope with a check inside. Just a little something to get you started, he said. I tried to refuse, but he insisted. That's what dads do, right? I smiled. Yeah, I guess it is. Life moved fast. I got a job, moved to another city, fell in love, got married. He gave a speech at my wedding. Short, emotional, perfect. He may not be my blood, he said, but he's always been my son. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. When my wife and I had our first child, Dad was the first to hold her. He looked at her like she was made of stars. You're going to be a great father, he told me, because you had one. The years passed quietly. He grew older, slower, but never less loving. He'd sit with my daughter, telling her stories from my childhood. She loved him more than words. Grandpa makes the best pancakes, she'd say, syrup on her cheeks. He spoiled her just like he did me. One day she asked, Did Grandpa build this house? I laughed. No, honey, but he built something even better. He built me. She didn't understand then, but one day she will. Then came the call. A neighbor found him collapsed on the porch. Heart attack. By the time I got to the hospital, he was unconscious. Machines beeped, tubes everywhere. I held his hand and begged him to wake up. Please, Dad, don't leave me. My voice cracked. The nurse touched my shoulder gently. He's been waiting for you. I leaned close and whispered, I'm here. And for just a moment, his eyes opened. He smiled, one last smile, and then he was gone. The funeral was small but beautiful. Old friends, neighbors, people he helped over the years. A man stood up during the eulogy and said, Your dad fixed my roof when I lost my job. Wouldn't take a dime. Another added, He used to shovel my driveway every winter. That was Dad. Quiet kindness. No spotlight. Just love in action. When it was my turn to speak, I stood trembling. He wasn't my real dad by blood, but he loved me like one, and more. That was all I could say before the tears came. After the burial, I went back to his house, our house. Everything was just as he left it. Coffee mug in the sink, book on the armrest, the smell of old leather and peppermint. I walked into his room and found one last envelope on the bed with my name on it. Inside was a letter. If you're reading this, I'm gone. But don't be sad. I had a full life because I had you. You made me a father. Thank you for letting me love you. I cried like a child. Grief doesn't hit you all at once. It comes in waves, sometimes soft, sometimes crashing. I'd be driving and hear a song he loved, and suddenly I'd be 12 again, riding in his truck. Or I'd smell pancakes and remember Sunday mornings. Every memory felt like a gift and a goodbye. I started writing down stories about him so I wouldn't forget, so my daughter wouldn't forget. Because love like his shouldn't fade with time. It should echo. One day, my daughter asked, Daddy, do you miss Grandpa? I nodded. Every day. She sat in my lap, thoughtful. Do you think he's watching us? I smiled. I hope so. Then she said something that broke me. If you're not his real son, but he loved you anyway, does that mean I don't have to be real to love someone? I hugged her tight. Exactly. Real love isn't what you're made of. It's what you give. She kissed my cheek. Then I'll love you forever. Just like he did. After Dad passed, I found myself doing the things he used to do, fixing a neighbor's fence, slipping 20 bucks into a friend's empty wallet. I didn't even think about it. It just felt natural, like part of him had settled into me, quietly without asking. My wife noticed it first. "You're becoming him," she said one night. And maybe I was, not in the way I spoke or walked, but in the way I showed up, the way I loved, the way I stayed, just like he did. I eventually told my daughter the full story, that Dad had adopted me, that we weren't related by blood. She was old enough to understand by then. She sat there wide-eyed and said, "But he was still your dad." I nodded. Yes, in every way that counted. She thought for a moment and smiled. "Then I want to adopt someone when I grow up. I want to be like him too." My heart swelled. Dad's legacy wasn't just in me, it was in her, in the love that lived on. Years passed. We moved out of the old house but kept all the memories. I framed a picture of Dad holding me on my 5th birthday, his goofy smile, my missing teeth. It hangs in our hallway now. My daughter passes it every day on her way to school. Sometimes she stops and talks to it. "Hi, Grandpa. I'm doing good today." I think he hears her. I like to think he's still watching, still proud, still loving us from wherever he is. He never needed biology to be real. He just needed heart. On the anniversary of his death, I took my daughter fishing. Same lake, same dock, same peanut butter sandwiches. She caught a fish, just like I did years ago. I looked at her, the sun in her hair, laughter in her voice, and I saw everything he had given me. Not just lessons or stories, but the kind of love that reaches through generations. We sat in silence, lines in the water, and for a moment I swear I felt him there, beside us, not gone, just changed. Sometimes people ask me about my dad. They mean my birth father, the man I never knew. I tell them I don't know much. He's just a name on a certificate, a shadow in my history. But then I tell them about my dad, the one who raised me, who stayed, who loved me when he didn't have to, and their faces soften. Because deep down we all know, fatherhood isn't something you inherit, it's something you earn, one act of love at a time. As my daughter grows older, I see bits of him in her, the way she holds the door for strangers, the way she offers her allowance to help a friend, the quiet strength in her eyes when life gets hard. She never met him long enough to remember much, but she carries his spirit. She carries his kindness. And that's the greatest legacy a man can leave behind. Not wealth, not fame, but love that keeps moving forward through the lives he touched. Sometimes when I feel lost or tired, I sit with his old journal. I read his messy handwriting, his quiet worries, his deep hopes. One entry always gets me. "I don't know if I'm doing this right," he wrote, "but I love him more than anything. I hope that's enough." I wish I could go back and tell him it was more than enough. He gave me a life, a compass, a home. He showed me what a man could be, what a father should be. The last page of the journal is dated 1 year before he died. He's grown now, a man. I don't say it enough, but I'm proud of who he is. I read those words every time I doubt myself. Every time I wonder if I'm being a good father. Because if I can be even half the dad he was to me, then I'm doing just fine. He didn't leave me with money or a big house. He left me with something far more valuable, an example, a blueprint of love. I tell this story not because it's unique, but because it's not. There are so many dads out there like mine. Quiet heroes, unsung saints, stepfathers, adoptive dads, grandfathers filling the gap. Men who choose love over biology, who show up every single day. This story is for them, for the men who stayed when they didn't have to, who loved with everything they had, who became dad not by blood, but by heart. If you're lucky enough to have someone like that in your life, tell them. Don't wait. Don't assume they know. Say thank you. Say I love you. Pick up the phone. Hug them while you can. Because one day all you'll have are the memories. And hopefully, like me, you'll find that those memories are full of warmth, of laughter, of love, and that will carry you even in their absence. He wasn't my real dad, at least not by biology, but he was real in every way that counted. He was my coach, my teacher, my protector, my guide. He gave me love without limits. He gave me a family. And when the time comes when I'm gone and my daughter tells her children about me, I hope she says the same. He wasn't perfect, but he loved me with everything he had, just like my dad did. And that, I think, is the most real thing of all.